Guys, welcome back for my next pregnancy update. This week is my 36-week update. Well, let's get straight into the video. If you're new here, my name is Lindsay and I'm from Canada, but I live in northern Italy, and my husband and I are expecting a baby girl very shortly, in a couple weeks actually. We'll get into the reason why she's coming a bit later in this video. So anyway, let's get started. So for the overall symptoms, just like I said last week in the video, still have experienced some disrupted sleep all the time, and I'm very hungry. Couple times some issues with diarrhea, of course, nausea, fatigue, going to the bathroom to pee all the time, backaches when I wake up or when I'm sleeping, and those are basically what I experience pretty much on a daily basis. So just we'll get those out of the way now, and then any kind of specific symptoms for the days to follow I will just mention. So I turned over to 36 weeks and on last Wednesday. I am a couple days late doing this update today. It's Friday and I am 37 plus 2. But I had to make making my hospital bag a priority. So I'd been pushing it off for about 2 weeks. So basically I had to get some other stuff that was kind of more urgent done first. So here we are today. But last Wednesday, I actually had a bit of a scare because around 11 p.m. I was on my Ovia app and someone had written a question like about how they hadn't felt their baby move in like more than 3 hours. And well, at first I was like, oh, she's probably just like, or the baby is probably like having a sleepy day. Mine does that too sometimes. It's probably when they're growing. But then people were like commenting on that thread, like, call your doctor, like, try and like drink some ice water. And then I started to actually get worried because I was like, oh my God, like, well, I realized I hadn't felt baby girl either in like, well, about 3 hours since dinner time. And I tried waking her up by kind of, trying to slightly push on the belly, shining a flashlight. Nothing was working. The flashlight that was from my phone, and my husband thinks that actually probably it's not like really bright enough. But I tried ice water, got on my side, and nothing was working. I'm not really sure how much time passed, but I started to get quite worried. And so I woke my husband up, and he'd been trying to go to bed early that day. But I was like, I'm too worried here. So slowly we got some small movements from her. And then we came into the kitchen and he said, eat two teaspoons of honey. And then let's see. And so once the honey kind of had its effect, I started to feel her more. My husband, so I was like, okay, I think everything's fine. I'm just going to get 10 more kicks and then I'll follow you back to bed. At this point, we were like, okay, she's fine. Like, she started, the sugar hit her. And so he went back to bed and I kind of laid there for a little bit longer, and I was like, okay, yeah, I've got like the 10 kicks now. And my husband came to double check, and I was like, okay, no, I'm on my way. She's fine. And at that point, a sugar rush had really hit her, and boy, she was awake. But anyway, that was scary. I was actually really worried there for a bit. It was like an hour of kind of, like I was ready if I needed to go to the hospital. Like I was gonna go. Anyway, the next day I felt really thirsty and I had a runny nose, and I also got a really sore back during the night when I was sleeping. And this does happen to me sometimes. Like I keep having to change sides what I'm sleeping on when I'm sleeping. And I kind of keep feeling like this light, almost acidity kind of feeling when I go to bed early, kind of early in the morning, like, I don't know, 1, 2. And then when I get up as well, like I wake up super, super hungry. Like I can't wait to eat breakfast. Like, whoa, man, like so hungry. And I've really noticed that has been a new thing. Then on 36 plus 2, which was last Friday, I've experienced this a couple times, but like we were watching TV and oh my God, I think it's like that restless leg syndrome or something. Holy cow, I like could not stop my leg from moving. Oh, like, I mean, I felt like I just needed to move my leg around. It was actually quite irritating, but, um, earlier that day, I had actually had a really upset stomach from like these, I don't know, like when when I have my cycle, I always get like that the cramps kind of bring on like an upset stomach, and that was basically what happened to me that day. Like I was lying out on, well, I was sitting out on the balcony and I was like really, really uncomfortable. And I had these like Brax nicks, but it totally brought on like this total upset stomach. And then in the evening too, so I had the restless leg, and also I started to get like the PMS cramps, Braxton Hicks again, and like round ligament pain in my right groin. I was really uncomfortable. Luckily, it did pass, but like after a bit, and so that wasn't too fun. Then on Sunday, which was 36 plus 4, I was feeling honestly a bit like melancholy and anxious. And I think that has so much to do with the fact that we had really, really ugly weather since Friday evening. Like just this intense storm that had come through, and really on Saturday, like it started on Friday, but it wasn't really anything that crazy. Saturday, all day, like from 2:30 in the afternoon on like till 8, and then a bit later as well. It was thundering, so you would have clouds coming from one direction, say the left, going towards the right. And then you'd have thunder, and then after a bit you'd see, oh, the clouds are going back this way, and then later back this way. It was like all day. It was ridiculous. Like there was this storm just circling around us, but like intense, like hail and like beating straight down on our windows. Like I had to close all of the like shutters and everything because I got really worried at one point when I looked outside. It was like white, like I couldn't see anything, and absolutely hitting our windows. And like it was really, really ugly. And actually what happened is that in some of the provinces and areas around us, they had ended up being hit by like a mini hurricane essentially, and in some areas even like a little tornado. So it was definitely a crazy storm, and we were lucky that like we only got really like the hail and the heavy water, but I mean, it totally decimated like our kiwi plant, our kiwi plant, and like all my plants, like my geraniums look like crap now because even though I had them against the side of the house, like it didn't matter. It was just coming straight in. So that was extremely ugly, and just because it kept thundering and then through the night and then in the morning after. And so, I seem to be very affected by the weather. And I think I had mentioned this in like an update like ages ago from like, oh, April, I think. And I had said that like my husband had noticed like if the weather was kind of ugly for a couple days, like it would really like affect me, and it does. And so that day I was just feeling like just, oh, this weather is so ugly, and it was just kind of getting to me. And I was a little bit anxious that day too. I don't know, that could be something to do with the weather changing so drastically too. It could be. And then today it's actually nice again, but it was really cold there for a few days actually, and like socks and t-shirt weather and pants. So anyway, that was kind of what was happening that day. And then on Monday, this is the big news. So on Monday, I was kind of going through like a few emotions, but just to say, so I had my like 36-week appointment that day, and well, they checked and they did all of the like documents, and my husband came. They didn't let him in right away, but then, and I was kind of like, oh, I was hoping that he could come in like to get, some more information too, like because I'm a possible candidate for a C-section, right? And they were like, oh, okay, yeah, you have to do the sonogram. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll let him in after. So good. And they just did like a couple things, to register me for, I guess, the day. And then they did the sonogram. So they brought my husband in, and it was like super fast. And the doctor came in. There was like a nurse first, and she was like trying to feel my belly, and she was like, do you think that she's still breached? And we're like, yeah, like 98% sure. And she felt my belly, and she was like, like you could tell that she was pretty sure she was too. Doctor comes in, does the sonogram in like a brief moment, and he's like, yeah, she's breached, so we'll book you in for a C-section. And anyway, my husband was able to see the screen. He said that the baby looks like she's got my ears, which is cute, but that was about all he was able to get, because one, it was fast, and then two, I didn't even have the screen, so he was lucky to see what he did. And so we went back into the room where I was before, and they said, okay, so yeah, we'll book you in for a C-section. And I knew, because Valentina, the cousin, had said that they only do C-sections on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And well, they do it at 39 weeks. So they looked in the calendar, and they were like, okay, Thursday the 17th. And my husband and I laughed. I was like, you knew it, because a few months ago he had said, because the number 17 kind of follows him around, and I have told him that he needs to just adopt it as his like lucky number, because it seems to be that way. Like my mom did that because there's like the number 13 that always follows her around, so she adopted it as like her lucky number. And I'm like, you need to just do that, because I guess because the thing is that in Italy, like the 17th, Friday the 17th is kind of like Friday the 13th for North America. But anyway, so we were laughing, and yeah, it's his lucky number, I think. Yes, they gave me the details, booked me in for the anesthesiologist appointment, and my God, that word in Italian I stumble over so bad. It's like anesthetista, and like the I don't know, it's very difficult for me to say. Anyway, so got that coming up, and then they've got me to, I have to do obviously the COVID swab, and I actually think that's it. And then they do the scan when I go in there on the 17th, and they see if she's still breached. If she is, okay, well then they do the C-section, but if not, they send me home. So there is still a chance, but like honestly, the doctor said there's not a 0% chance that she'll turn, but almost. And like she doesn't really have that much amniotic fluid anymore left, so I mean, I think she's gonna have a hard time turning if she wants to, even, so she'll see. But so anyway, like it was funny, a bit of a mix about emotions kind of that day, and then the next day. So like I I was excited because I was like, wow, okay, we have like a date that we know for sure, like to count down to. But at the same time, I was like kind of disappointed, like, oh damn, you know, I've got to do a C-section. But oh well, I mean, I don't, it's the same, like, I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so that was the big news of the week, honestly. So I was feeling a bit nervous before that appointment, and then kind of going through all the emotions a bit after. Also, that day was still really ugly, and so even I had felt a bit melancholy even like later on because it was still just ugly. Like, I think it might have stormed a bit that day too. Like, honestly, we had all the fields around us that were like flooding basically because there was too much water. Anyway, and then on Tuesday, 36 weeks and 6 days, that day actually I had kind of a day where I was not feeling super good. I was just feeling kind of upset, honestly, about having to have a C-section. And so I was kind of like weepy that day and like emotional and just kind of sad. And then um, honestly, after that, from then on, so obviously Wednesday was then 37 weeks, but then I was really good because yesterday, so I'll just end this with this note. On the Wednesday, when I turned over to 37, or was it Wednesday? No, maybe it was Thursday. Well, I'm getting a bit confused, but anyway, one of the recent days, I can't even really remember. I think it was Wednesday. I called cousin Valentina and I asked her, just because she'd had two C-sections, just, you know, advice, what to bring and stuff in my hospital bag and all that. And she kind of calmed me down, and I was already feeling better that day anyway, but like after that, I felt even better. And, you know, she'd said like if she'd had the opportunity to choose with Maile, her second daughter, if to have a C-section or not, like she would have picked the C-section. So I was like, okay, so you know what? I'm good then. So I'll leave this update there because obviously that's already starting in the next week. But anyway, we'll finish off with the bump shot. Here we go. Seriously having issues suddenly with like my pants fitting. My maternity leggings I tried on one night this week, they don't fit anymore. I had to roll them down, so it's a bit of an issue. Anyway, there's the belly, and yeah, so definitely glad that I've only got 2 more weeks left. 13 days specifically, because I am starting to have issues figuring out what to wear. So anyway, that brings this week's update to a close. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like down below. Subscribe if you are interested in following along for, well, the next couple of weeks of this pregnancy journey and my content that will be coming after. So I will have to figure out with my husband just how much we want to share of the day in the life kind of with a baby, but I want to continue doing YouTube, so probably some content as well on, you know, what, maybe some grocery hauls coming up, what do I buy being a Canadian in Italy, and other fun things. So I'm just kind of gonna be figuring that out. But if you are interested in following along, I would love it if you would subscribe. And so don't forget to turn the bell notifications on, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hey guys, I'm just adding on to the end of this video with my 37-week update, because once I looked at how the week had been when I was making my notes, I saw that really there wasn't really anything too much to note in terms of all of the same symptoms that I probably just went over. So the 36 and 37 week updates are pretty similar, honestly. The only other things that I wanted to point out that was different was at 37 weeks and 1 day, I had like a couple of weeks. I think last week it was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where I was feeling like a bit funny because the temperature had changed really drastically and it had gone from being very hot to actually kind of chilly. And it always throws me off like every year, and so I just had a few days where I was feeling kind of like weird, like hot flashes and just kind of off anyway. And then by Friday it had like totally passed. I also had like a bit of a runny nose, and I had a couple of nights of like insomnia actually. As always, I still have like a couple days a week where I experience Braxton Hicks. It's not typically every day. I had a couple days, Friday and Saturday. Boy, was I motivated to clean, like really. And I had also like some vivid dreams on Saturday. Now I can't really remember particularly what they were, but anyway, they were vivid at the time. And then on 37 plus 4, which was Sunday, I felt, for whatever reason, just a little bit anxious that day. And I also had some right pelvic pain that day. And then on Monday, which was 37 plus 5, I started to notice that my belly was itchy, like, and I put on after the shower yesterday, like the oil. I have been putting it on anyway, but I had had a shower that morning, and then that evening I added more, and then also this morning I was saying, or no, this morning, not this morning, around lunch today I said, oh, you know, I've started to notice like my belly's a bit itchy, and my husband said, ah, yes, because you know, now is the point where your belly is going to be doing like the most growing with the baby, like she's going to start putting on the most fat and stuff, so anyway, I think that's it. And because I looked yesterday and I had like red scratches, and I was like, I better put on some oil. And yesterday I did have like a little bit of heartburn kick up too. That hasn't happened to me very often at all, but I have had like a couple times recently where I could feel like that like heartburn that was going up, and then I ate nectarine, I believe, and like a granola bar after we came back from groceries, and I was fine. And then today is 37 weeks and 6 days, and I started out the day, and I still feel like this, like I'm feeling motivated to get stuff done on my to-do list, but like I actually sort of just feel so tired around like 3:45 or whatever, and I don't know, we'll see. I might do some stuff sitting down, but I think most of my to-do list now is anyway to like do stuff to sit down. It's like the house is basically clean, and I just need my husband to clean the shower. So that's basically it for this week in a nutshell. So as you can see, the belly keeps growing, so I will just do the bump shot. I changed positions because the sun's kind of funny and had gone behind a cloud, so here we go. This is not a maternity top either. Anyway, here. So this is the 37-week bump shot. I hope that was straight actually. I've got it on this like stand that's really not the best tripod, but anyway. Alright guys, that's it for now. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you next time for my last pregnancy update because I'm going into my C-section at 39 weeks and 1 day, so the 38-week update will be the last one, but I fully intend on continuing the content. So, all right. I would love it if you would join along and subscribe. Okay, bye.